Hey guys, it's Frank from Cruising with Wheels. Yep, we're back from our NCL getaway cruise. And you guessed it, it was dog eat dog at the elevators. Take a look at all the crazy people we encountered in this episode of my Tales from the High Seas. Yep, embarkation day on the ship is always crazy. Everybody is scrambling to get on. Those of you who have been on a cruise, you know what I'm talking about. And those of you who haven't gone on a cruise yet, be prepared. Because when you get thousands of people that first day going up the gangway on the ship, it gets a little crazy and a little dicey. And yep, you know it, we're always having issues with the elevator. You know, I expect it. I'm not surprised. You know, I don't really get aggravated because it is what it is. Everybody's in their own little cruise world trying to get where they want to get because they're on vacation and they're excited. So let me tell you the first story. Now, we had just gotten on the getaway. We went right to Oceans and we had a lunch. Now remember, we were on a cruise again with Dave and Darlene. And we always have a great time when we cruise with them. Now, we were done eating our lunch and we were making our way to the elevators. And on the getaway, because it's a big ship, there are only two sets of elevator banks. One in the aft and one set in forward of the ship. Now, those of you that have traveled on the smaller NCL Jewel class ships, they have three elevator banks, forward, mid, and aft. So, we had this on the Bliss, the NCL Bliss, big ship, forward and aft, no big deal. Wasn't a problem. So we're there now, with all these people at the elevators. And, when it's dinging over there, Kevin's got to push my wheelchair and, we got to get to it. But, people are just pushing and shoving and it's dog eat dog. And it's like, Mad Max beyond the Thunderdome, 2 man in, 1 man leave. I mean, it's crazy. And so every time an elevator would open up, everybody would make a mad rush like it was the last elevator to safety as the ship was going down. That's how it was. And I'm sitting there in my wheelchair and I'm like, okay. Maybe if we're lucky, the elevator, the next elevator that's available will open up the one in front of me where I'm like a foot away from the entrance and we can get on. So everybody's pushing and shoving and just really, really crowded. And Dave, Darlene, and Kevin are hovering over me. And people have got their carry-on luggage. And this one guy, again, he's his own little cruise world. He's knocking into everybody. He rolls over Dave's foot with his luggage. And I look over and Dave is like, I hear Dave going, ow! And I'm like, what's going on? And the guy is now not only rolling over Dave with his luggage, but is now falling over Dave and then falls on me in my wheelchair. And I'm like, dude, you need to be aware of who's around you. I mean, you're not alone on the ship. Surrounded by lots of other people. It was just, it was crazy as usual. But, there was no really big deal. The big deal that I had was right after that. Because we had missed the elevator about 5 or 6 times. And because there were so many people and they were just all rushing. And they didn't care that, we were there first. We were, in a wheelchair waiting to get on. They did not care. As well as other people in a wheelchair or walker, elderly, didn't care. Now, the elevator finally in front of us, where I actually was located, opened up. And there was this young couple. And I don't know who it was, the boyfriend, the husband. I'll call him the husband. Okay. The husband says to the wife, honey, let's let the guy in the wheelchair get on. And she looked at him and said, no, let's go. And she stormed on the elevator, and he was like, weasel that he was, followed her in, along with everybody else, the masses piling in, like, again, it was the last elevator to safety. And I was like, are you kidding me? Wow. Dude, that's what you hooked your wagon to? That's who you married? Or if they're not married, that's who you're going to marry? I can't even imagine if I was able to walk and we were on a cruise, Kevin and I said to Kevin, Kevin, let's let this lady in the scooter on the elevator. And he turned to me and said, no, let's go, and stormed on it. I would have said, I'm not getting on, and you better get your ass off. What's wrong with you, dude? Come on. We can walk. They can't. This is the compassion she was showing. Dude, whoever you are, that's your first clue of what your life is going to be like with that bitch. No empathy, no compassion, selfish and entitled. You better know it now before she walks down that aisle. And if you're already married, you better take note, because I guarantee she's not going to get better. She is going to continue to be the selfish, unsympathetic, uncaring bitch that she was on that ship. Now, on another instance, it happened to my poor Kevin. I was in the cabin, either taking a nap or doing something, or journaling, and he was on a packed elevator, and he was all the way in the back, and everybody was hitting their buttons. He was, on deck 11, or I don't know, maybe he was going somewhere else. Maybe he wasn't coming back to see me. I don't know. But, was stopping on every floor, and he was, he was, a lot of times he'll get on, and he'll be like, the elevator's so packed, and he wants to go down, but it's so packed that he'll end up going up to get on so he can go down. And I think that this may have been the case where he's like, okay, I know this elevator is going up, but I'm going to get on, because if I don't, I'll never be able to get on the elevator to go where I want to go. So he gets on, goes up, probably goes up to wherever it is, to the highest deck, and then starts to come down. Now, he's all the way in the back against the wall, like sardines in a can. And so it comes to the deck he wants to get off. Deck 11, which is where we were on. We were in cabin 11888. And he's like, excuse me, I need to get off. This is my deck. Excuse me. And they won't let him out, right? The doors close and keep on going down. And the next, opens, right? And he's thinking, okay, well, I'll get off on 10 and I'll just run up. Excuse me, let me get off, excuse me. And no one is listening. And he's like, I need to get off. Doors close, right? He's like trapped. He's trapped on the elevator all the way in the back, like he's invisible. And again, because people are in their own little worlds, no one's listening, because they're just focused on, their deck that they're going to get off. I think he said he missed like 3 decks until he was finally, he ended up, screaming, right? And they're like, well, why didn't you say so? You needed to get off. He was like, I've been saying that 3 decks ago, people. No one's listening. Get out of my way. What is wrong with you? And he gets off, and now he's got to, take the stairs and run back up. It's aggravating, but it's funny, really. I wasn't on it, so, I can laugh all I want. But how really people really are just really closed down, okay, to the surroundings, to everyone around them. And they really are tunnel vision into their own little world. It's really something to behold. It really is a true people watcher, if you are, to really see what's going on around you. Now the next story actually took place on the day we disembarked, December 2nd. And we were on the elevator going down. I think, again, we're on 11, so we were leaving our cabin, getting on the elevator, going down to deck 8, which I think is where the gangway was, to get off. And, we kind of position ourselves to hang out, especially me. I want to hang out near the bathroom because, last potty break before we're off the ship and into the car to get to the airport. I digress. But anyway, so we get on, and it's just us. Deck 8, dink. And then on the way down, deck 10, doors open, and a couple gets on. Husband and wife, I'll say. And again, they're like, oh, honey, deck 8. And we're like, oh, we're going there too. And they're like, oh, so we're all going to deck 8, 4 of us. And the elevator goes down, and everybody, when people get on elevators, they kind of reposition themselves, because I'm there in the wheelchair. Kevin has, he got me in, then turned me around so he can just push me out. And then people get in, and they're all kind of sidle, to the side, to the back, and everyone's got their space staked out, right? We get to deck 8, the doors open up, and Kevin's like right there. Just push me out. And the guy literally starts to climb over me. I see the leg lifting up, like gonna hop over me to get out. We're all going to the same place. Didn't we discuss that when you got on? That deck 8 button was already pushed? Yeah, we're going there too. Yeah. But he's gotta lift his leg to hop over me. Like, again, is the ship going down and you got to get off first because I'm going to slow you down in my wheelchair? I don't understand these people. We're all going to the same place. Why are you rushing? Only takes 2 seconds for Kevin to go whoosh and shove me out the door. We get out and they go scurrying off and we look at each other and shake our heads like, here we go. People that just want to jump over me like they're, pole vaulting over, a bar of something. I don't know. People are really crazy. But this last story I want to tell you about happened on November 29th. It was our port stop at Costa Maya, Kevin's birthday. And it was really a nasty incident, very offensive, very vulgar, and Kevin witnessed this whole thing as he was on one of the decks waiting with others to get on an elevator. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the story, and I'm going to tell you exactly as it happened. And Kevin will just have to bleep out the bad words. Okay, so he is standing there in front of the elevators with all these people. And this woman was there, and she was with her friends. And again, everyone was waiting for the elevator. And she is just bitching and moaning. And everything is this, that, this elevator, tired of waiting for it, bitching and moaning, and oh my God. And the elevator finally opens up, and all of them get in, and there's a family on and a little girl. And like kids, they're the ones that play elevator operator. So the little 8-year-old girl is right there where all the buttons are to the decks. And the little 8-year-old girl looked up at the lady and said, "And what deck do you want to go to?" And the lady, who was bitching and moaning, looked down at the little girl and said, "I don't give a what deck I go on, as long as there's no people on it." And the dad was flipped out and looked at the lady and said, "Don't you talk to my daughter that way. What is wrong with you?" And then he called the lady a whore in Spanish. And those of you who know that Spanish word for whore know what I'm talking about. And then the lady looks at the father and says, "I'll say what I want." And the father says, "You can say what you want, bitch, but I will shut you up." So it was all going down in the elevator. It was going to be like a total smackdown that was happening. I mean, it was crazy. What is wrong with people? Why do they have to be so nasty? I just don't understand it. So all I can say is, patience, people, patience. You're on a cruise, you're on vacation, relax, enjoy. You're on the ship with thousands of other people on this big mega cruise ship. You're going to have to wait and be patient like everybody else. So on behalf of Kevin and myself from Cruising with Wheels, I want to remind you to watch our videos. Make sure you are a regular subscriber. Hit that subscribe button. And we're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. So remember always, travel safe and cruise often.